Hardware, the iPhone 6 features a 4.7-inch display with a resolution of 1334 by 750 and a pixel density of 326 ppi. It's equipped with Apple's new dual-core 8.8 chip clocked in at 1.4 GHz, comes with 1 GB of RAM and a 1810 mAh battery. It now has NFC built in, which unfortunately can only be used for Apple Pay at the moment, and it comes in space gray, gold, and silver. Now, storage option includes 16, 64, and 128 GB, and it's priced at $199, $299, and $399 respectively with a 2-year contract. It's packing a whole new 8-megapixel iSight camera in the back that can film in 1080p 60 frames per second and slow motion 720p at 240 frames per second. There's a new FaceTime camera up in the front too that features a new sensor with a larger aperture, which lets in 81% more light into the sensor, and that essentially improves face detection and allows for HDR video and burst mode. The iPhone 5S, on the other hand, features a 4-inch display with a resolution of 1136 by 640 and a pixel density of 326 ppi. It's equipped with Apple's dual-core A7 chip clocked in at 1.3 GHz. It comes with 1 GB of RAM, a 1570 mAh battery, and storage options of either 16 or 32 GB for $99 and $149 with a 2-year contract. It comes in space gray, gold, and silver, and the iPhone 5S also carries an 8-megapixel iSight camera, though without the newer sensor. You can film in 1080p at 30 frames per second and slow motion 720p at 120 frames per second. Now, when it comes to design, Apple has taken a very different approach with the iPhone 6, gone are the chamfered edges that lived on the iPhone 5S in favor of a curved, more unibody look. The sleep-wake button has been moved to the right side of the device for easy access, while the volume buttons are now more elongated and easier to press. Now, the most noticeable difference between the two is how thin the iPhone 6 is compared to the iPhone 5S. The iPhone 6 is just 6.9mm compared to the 7.6mm iPhone 5S. Both the iPhone 6 and 5S have aluminum backs and toughened glass fronts, and they both feel like premium devices. The 6's rounder design is definitely starting to grow on me, and I think it's the perfect form factor. It's not too big where it's unwieldy, and not too small where it's similar to the 5S. Screen, you get bumped up from 4 inches to 4.7 inches, and the iPhone 6 features 38% more pixels than the 5S, but it's not necessarily sharper than the 5S. Both phones have 326 ppi displays, which means both have nearly identical screens. Of course, a larger display is always going to be a bit more satisfying for browsing the web, watching videos, and playing games, though the iPhone 6 does feature dual domain pixels for wider viewing angles and better contrast ratios. In terms of camera, I've always liked the iPhone's camera and how it handles exposure, colors, and detail, though Apple hasn't really changed a great deal in the camera of the iPhone 6. It still has an 8-megapixel sensor, it still has an f2.2 lens, which is what the iPhone 5S has, though the new sensor is what Apple is pushing towards consumers. Its focus pixel technology provides the sensor with more information about your image, which gives you better and faster autofocus and clearer images. Indoors and outdoors, both the 5S and 6 captures great images. Color seems a bit more accurate on the 6 over the 5S, and when it comes to camera performance, the 6 outperforms the 5S here. It focuses really quick and works well in low light, and the other advantage of the iPhone 6 is the ability to film in 1080p 60 frames per second and 720p at 240 frames per second, which includes cinematic video stabilization and continuous autofocus, whereas the 5S can only shoot at 1080p at 30 frames per second and 720p at 120 frames per second. If you're in a video, the 6's camera is a great upgrade over the 5S, but photo quality is nearly identical. Let's take a quick break from this video and thank our friends over at GoDaddy. It's go time, and GoDaddy's here to help you kick butt online. Start your website today with just $1.99.com and visit GoDaddy.com and enter the promo code 199techno to get your .com for just $1.99. Some limitations apply. See website for details. Battery life, Apple has chosen to make the iPhone 6 slimmer rather than significantly adding to the battery life. The iPhone 6 is equipped with a 1810 mAh battery, while the iPhone 5S is equipped with a 1570 mAh battery. The iPhone 5S's battery life is roughly the same as the iPhone 6, and we got about an hour of difference between the two phones. Software, both are pretty much the same. The iPhone 5S can be updated to the latest iOS 8.1, where apps like the Apple Store, Uber, Target, and a few more have support for Apple Pay using the 5S's Touch ID. Overall, there's no difference between the iPhone 6 and the iPhone 5S in this department. They're both pretty fast, and I haven't really noticed any big difference between the two. So, is it worth the upgrade? It's so-so. If the slightly better camera, screen, Apple Pay matters to you more than battery life, then I would upgrade the iPhone 6. Myself personally would still choose the 6 Plus over the 6 because it offers a bigger screen with landscape support throughout iOS, has a better battery life, and has optical image stabilization, which the 6 doesn't offer. The 6, in my opinion, is just an incremental upgrade from the 5S and doesn't really feature anything breathtaking. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. If you guys have any suggestions on which devices you'd like to see next, let us know in the comments down below. And as always, I'm Mark Linsanga from Techno Buffalo. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and if you guys would like to see more tech-related videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button down below. And we're also on Twitch, so make sure to check us out at twitch.tv/technobuffalo.